Chapter 4. To 10 Years in the Past. 3. Translator. Synopsis: The dress code for the planning team was casual clothes, but it was laughable to go casual on the first day. Kang Yoon wore a suit that fit him perfectly, and he checked various parts while looking at the mirror. Is it strange? No, not a bit. My appa is the best. Hyun did a thumbs up from behind Kang Yoon while looking delighted. The long legs and wide shoulders accentuated Kang Yoon in the suit. I'll go first today. Be careful on your way to school. Today is dialysis day, all right? Don't forget. Yeah. Appa. Do your best at work. It took a long time for Kang Yoon, who lived in a poor district on the northern side of the river, to go to a well-known street on the southern side of the river. With him having to ride the bus and the train, commuting to work was difficult. Using the temporary card key he received, he entered the company and headed straight to the chairman's office. Welcome. I was waiting for you. Good morning, sir. Chairman Won Jin-moon greeted him nicely. Drinking the tea brought by the secretary, Chairman Won Jin-moon spoke. So today's your first day. Jua will be here in the afternoon, so look around the company until then. I understand. I never touch anything after I give someone a task. Instead, if the result is bad, Chairman Won Jin-moon sliced across his neck. Haha. Of course, it's not like I'm going to kill you for real, so don't worry. I'll do my best. Looking at Chairman Won Jin-moon, who was laughing without restraint, Kang Yoon thought of his personality. He doesn't touch anything after he gives someone work. However, if the result doesn't satisfy him, there would be severe consequences. Likewise, a good reward would follow from a good result. This was the secret to how Chairman Won Jin-moon survived in this industry. He always had capable people nearby him. They never felt the need to leave him because they received what they deserved. Kang Yoon thought that he should learn this point from him. The tea time ended and Kang Yoon was led to his office by the secretary. The office was on the 5th floor. It's here. At the place where the secretary opened the door was a name tag with the words, Team Leader of the Planning and Management Team, Lee Kang Yoon. And he had his own room. He was satisfied with the elegant table, the resources on the bookshelf, the TV, the computer, and everything else. Look around the room until lunch. I will contact you if Miss Jua comes. The secretary went back up to the chairman's office. Kang Yoon, who earned free time until lunch, started looking around his office. From the programs in the computer to the album resources, he found the videos of the training room and snacks too. There was not a single thing missing. He could feel with his skin the position of planning and management team leader of MG Entertainment. Looking through some resources, Kang Yoon opened the video where the trainees were practicing. The video, which was recorded by CCTV, showed trainees undergoing various training, including dance training and vocal training. Looking at those scenes, Kang Yoon became curious. Shall I have a look? They say, strike the iron while it's hot. So Kang Yoon went straight to the training room. It was a training lecture room on the 3rd floor where vocal training was currently being held. Kang Yoon lightly opened the door and went inside. He saw that there were many youths in their early teens to the late teens who were in the middle of listening to the lecture. Min-sung, I think you lack a bit of abdominal strength in that part. Let's tense up a little bit more. The reason why you can't help but leave me. A male trainee was tensing his abdominal muscles while singing, however, this time it's gray. From the male trainee, a dull gray was permeating. The flat color made Kang Yoon crease his eyebrows. It was a color which had a bad feeling to it. Han Min-sung, that's not it. You're too tense. Again, the reason why you can't help but leave me. The light came out from the trainee again. However, it was still gray. Still, it wasn't as dull as the previous time. Min-sung, it's getting better. Again, the reason why you can't help but leave me. The gray light became thinner and thinner. Kang Yoon was curious about this phenomenon. The dull gray thinned out and eventually became white, and the white spread out gently. Good. Just like that. Let's go to the next part. I love you but... Perhaps he grasped onto that feeling. The white light from the male trainee filled the surroundings more and more. When it became white, a good song resounded. The gentle sound, which was spreading to its surrounding, Sounded all right. Good. Let's rest for a bit. When the resting time came, Kang Yoon quietly left. This ability to see the light, he seems to have grasped it. Good singing spreads white light. It would be safe to assume that the dull gray light comes out when the singing is off or horrible. When the light spreads to others, that person will get affected and react. In the end, what kind of light one produces or what influence it gives to others. I need to find how this works. To see the effects of singing. This was an amazing ability. Good singing and powerful singing had differences. Ah, dear God. Kang Yoon, for the first time in his life, looked for God and thanked him. He never looked for God in his despair, but now, when he had received the thing he needed the most, he automatically looked for God. In his new life, God gave him a present which he needed the most. Adian Vian, at that moment his phone started ringing. Yes, I will be back right away. Kang Yoon went to the chairman's office after being contacted to come to the chairman's office since Jua came. Jua was a singer who had a short height, not even reaching 160 centimeters, but had long legs and a thin waist, a good body ratio. It was the result of harsh maintenance in her ordinary life. She was still 19. She, who hid her childishness with makeup, suspiciously looked towards Kang Yoon. This is my planning producer? Nice to meet you. My name is Lee Kang Yoon. Jua met Kang Yoon for the first time, but she didn't hide her suspicions. She scanned him from the top down and looked towards to the chairman again. Chairman, can't I just do it with Jiwon Appa? Jua, you know me. If I do it with a new person, it takes a lot of time. You said that this album would go to Japan. It's such an essential album, but if I need to match with a new person, then how much time would it take? The result is uncertain too. It was Jua's declaration of I can't do it with this person. However, Chairman Won Jin-moon shook his head. Jua, we decided on this after careful consideration. We chose the person we thought was the most suited to this album. So, Chairman, you know that I never went against you in the past, right? But I don't understand you this time. You're telling me to work with a new, unverified person. Did I do something wrong? Jua was really stubborn herself. The album which will be printed in Japan decided her very existence as a singer. But to work with an unverified newbie, she worked for 5 years as a singer, and she was one of the best, so Jua couldn't accept it. However, Chairman Won Jin-moon drew the line. Jua, you believe my eyes, right? This is the most suitable person for this album. Trust this uncle once and do it. But uncle, stop there. I won't allow any more objections. In the end, Jua could only smack her lips, open the door, and run away. Kang Yoon bitterly said while looking at the door. She doesn't seem to like me. Ha ha ha. How is it, Team Leader Lee? Jua has a stubborn personality. She's pretty loud to her opinions. Can you topple that stubbornness? Kang Yoon was having fun. A top-class singer must have a side like that. He replied without hesitation. It's interesting. A singer must have stubbornness. Please leave it to me. Good, I will trust you. From this moment on, you're the top person regarding Jua's debut in Japan. I will not allow anyone to touch anything. Then, please work hard. Chairman Won Jin-moon stood up from his seat and patted Kang Yoon's shoulder while ordering the stop of all interference. Kang Yoon said goodbye and left. It's starting for real now. While walking towards the office, inside Kang Yoon's head, various plans were taking form. Chapter 5. To 10 years in the past. 4. Translator. Synopsis. The next day, Kang Yoon started organizing the team for real. Chairman Won Jin-moon gave him all of the power, as he said. So Kang Yoon could select all of the talented team members as he wanted. MG has a lot of talents. That's for sure. From producer Oh Ji-won, the main commander in practice who produced countless albums that were big hits, to Vice Chief Lee Ji-yeon, who was the ace of the promotion team and was well known for being able to read the latest trends in the media. Jua's number 1 manager, Kang Soo-min, who knew everything about Jua, and lastly, the one who would choose the songs, MG's leading composer Seo-lin. These people were aces who Kang Yoon had heard of at least once in his past. To think that, in his previous life, he never even had the chance to work with these people. But now he was the planning and management team leader who ordered these people around. Kang Yoon felt the responsibility, along with gratitude for his new life. After Kang Yoon selected the team members, he held the first meeting in his office. After everyone gathered, he did a brief self-introduction and started the meeting. The objective this time is to successfully debut in the Japanese market and place within the top 5 of the Oricon chart. Everyone groaned at Kang Yoon's objective. They were aces all right, but to debut into Japan was an entirely different matter. To Korean singers, the Japanese market was an independent existence where one had to throw money in, not earn from it. Do you know who the most famous singer is in Japan? It was Vice Chief Lee Ji-yeon who spoke first. After everyone shook their heads, she continued talking. It's a solo singer called Siska AI. Before that, it was a singer named May. The common point that these two share is that they used their singing ability rather than their dance to become famous. You mean that we should go with singing too? Since Jua's singing is good. Manager Kang Soo-min added. Then Seo Lin chimed in. However, if a Korean singer uses the Japanese style, can we actually satisfy them? I think this will be quite an adventure. Of course, the lyrics will have to be translated into Japanese, but changing the style of music will not be easy at all. It's a debut into Japan. To do that, we need to understand their way of thinking. If acoustic music is the trend, then I think it's safer to follow the trend. However, then what happens to Jua's style? Of course, Jua won't be weak with acoustic music, but if that happens, then we won't be able to show her original performance at all. The opinions of Seo Lin and producer Oh Ji-won clashed strongly. In the following conversation, the 4 of them didn't narrow down each of their views at all. Each of their opinions on how to debut in Japan and how Jua should perform was different. The idea to match the current Japanese style and the advice to go with Jua's style continued clashing until Kang Yoon, who didn't speak at all, spoke up. Let's go performance-based. What? But right now in Japan, the male idols basically reign over performance. It's their trend. I think it's impossible. Vice Chief Lee Ji-yeon shook her head. People feel familiar to what they are used to. Plus, it's Japan, they are very exclusive towards foreigners. As Koreans, we need to make them feel that they are familiar, but to go with performance. It is too dangerous. No, performance is better. To be honest, there is a lot more to what Jua can show than the Japanese male idols, since Jua exceeds them in ability by far. We are foreigners to them anyway. Isn't it a good idea to show them something entirely new? Vice Chief Lee Ji-yeon couldn't say anything. Kang Yoon's words had a strange persuasiveness to them. Ability was boss. So if she were that good, then everybody would watch her. And Jua had that ability. Then team leader, suppose we go performance-based. Then would the song be dance-themed? It would be like that. Dance based on popping. One that can bring out Jua's specialty. One that has groove. This is what I have in mind. At producer Oh Ji-won's question, Kang Yoon answered. Then producer Oh Ji-won clapped loudly. Groove, huh? Wow, I didn't even think about it. It can be considered retro. Japan has a longer history in modern music than us. I think the chances are plenty. Kang Yoon's didn't speak too much, but his words carried strength. It was because his words had logic. He seemed unreliable since he was a half-cronyist team leader, but it wasn't like that at all. T/N cronyism. The appointment of friends and associates to positions of authority without proper regard to their qualifications. Jua's specialty is riding the rhythm, so she would definitely like a groovy song. Manager Kang Soo-min seemed satisfied as he nodded. You're right. You're summing up today's meeting in one line. The promotion one team should look for a route to sign a deal with a Japanese TV station while composer Seo Lin should select a song. You should choose first, and it will be all right if I join later. Yes. YAP Vice Chief Lee Ji-yeon and composer Seo Lin answered in their own style and wrote down the important things. If the song comes out, producer Oh Ji-won should make a guide version. Imagine that you're training a trainee and make a good guide version. Anything else? Not yet. We will get busy once the song comes out, so rest up now. Producer Oh Ji-won nodded, and all that was left was manager Kang Soomin. Jua's looking after her weight, right? Of course. Looking after her body is important, but something even more important is to check for stress. Even if she has to gain weight a bit, don't let her stress out too much. And please allow her to go out too. However, that's against the company rules. Jua will be ruined if the company rules bind her. Anyway, can't Jua look after herself well enough? We need to show that we trust her and she will do better by herself. I understand. The checks for details also ended, and the meeting ended there. Everybody received their own work and exited Kang Yoon's office. Kang Yoon, who was left alone, finally came back to his seat and buried himself in it. Phew, that was hard. I still can't believe it. To think that I'm planning Jua's album. He, who was dubbed the Minus's hand, had just led the meeting for a top-class singer known as Jua. This fact still dazed Kang Yoon. He still thought this was all a dream. However, the sweet smell of coffee he felt made him realize that this was no dream. I will definitely succeed. Kang Yoon sipped his coffee while looking out the window, and he strongly resolved himself to succeed this time. The next day, Kang Yoon was face to face with the singer Jua, alone. If you have anything to say, then do it quickly. I am busy. Jua was direct and strong. However, Kang Yoon, facing a top singer who was talking sharply, wasn't flustered at all. Jua originally had a sharp personality. She's cold to strangers too. However, once she thinks someone is on her side, then she would protect them to the end. I need to make her realize that I'm on the same side as her. However, Jua had her own standards and that was based on ability. She was a person who treated those without ability as insects. She tried not to put those without knowledge by her side. Jua, can you sing for me? Sing? Why? Despite how I look, I'm still the planning team leader. Shouldn't I at least listen to you singing once? It was a reasonable request. There was no room to avoid this. In the end, Jua grumbled and stood up. She cleared her throat a few times and started singing. Don't forget, my name you are my... After Jua started singing, a light began to exude from her. Her voice is good. The singing was good. No one would be able to find any faults in her singing. However, gray. The light from Jua was faint, but it was gray. To think a superstar would emit gray light. Kang Yoon's expression automatically creased. Jua seemed to feel something wrong, and she eventually stopped. KHMM. I'm sorry. Let's go again. After coughing for a bit, she started singing again. However, Kang Yoon saw the gray light from her again. No, it was even darker than before. The gray light filled the room and eventually surrounded Kang Yoon himself. What is this? This dull color? After the gray light touched him, Kang Yoon felt sticky. It was as if he was buried in mud. The marsh-like stickiness buried him and constricted him. I will stop here. Did she notice Kang Yoon's displeasure? The song didn't even finish, but Jua stopped singing. Then, the gray light disappeared as if it was a lie. I can't believe it. Gray light? From Jua. Even street singers gave off white light. But why was Jua giving off a gray light? Kang Yoon pondered. Did anything happen recently? Nothing special. But why is your singing like that? What about it? What about it? You think you can say that? Your singing is horrible. You just trust in your voice and sing insincerely? Can you even call that singing? Kang Yoon got angry. It was a disappointment to his expectations on Jua. Being arrogant was all right, but arrogance with this level of singing? Now that was being extravagant. I did say to sing lightly, but a singer must do their best at all times. Even when practicing. Even on the stage. Didn't you have to listen to this point to death in your trainee days? Do you think you are the best since everybody calls you that and lifts you up? Then you will only be at that level. I was stupid for expecting something from you and having taken up this plan. Let's end it here. Kang Yoon was thoroughly disappointed. Jua's voice was unique, but it was her ability to develop that unique voice into her own singing. Kang Yoon also liked her singing and admired the fact that she put in the effort despite being at the top. But to meet like this, it was no wonder that he was disappointed. I will try again. Don't. There's nothing for me to listen to. I will do it properly this time. Please reevaluate me correctly with this. Jua seemed to have resolved on something and corrected her posture and started clearing her throat. After Kang Yoon gave his silent approval by crossing his arms, she began singing again. I thought it would be like this. But you? A crisp and refreshing sound started filling the room. It was completely different to the previous one. And Kang Yoon started seeing the lights. It's white. It was white light. The gray had disappeared like smoke. A clear white light emitted from her and filled the room and surrounded Kang Yoon. It's like a feather. He felt like feathers surrounded him. A slight tickle, this kind of feeling. Listening with his ear, it was clear, and looking with his eyes, it was bright. Kang Yoon could smile now. The other people don't realize, but you realized immediately. After her singing ended, Jua made a surprised expression. It was way too uncomfortable for me to listen to. Yes, the first singing cannot even be considered singing. It was worse than an echo. No emotions and no nothing. So it was nothing but sound. Wait, did you just test me? Your position is that of my future boss. So you should know me, right? At Jua's ambitious figure, Kang Yoon could only laugh helplessly. Haha, yeah. So, what's the result of your evaluation then? I will give you a pass. I am very thankful, but, come here. How dare you test your superior? Ack. I'm sorry. Kang Yoon smacked her and Jua struggled while pretending to be hurt. The picky attitude from the beginning was gone, and the two became friendly. Kang Yoon had earned Jua's approval. Then please take care of me from now on. Me too. Team leader Appa. Yeah, let's do this. Yup. Jua cheered naughtily while grabbing Kang Yoon's hand. The project had begun for real.